How could a fleeting moment that seemed almost insignificant suddenly transform into a global focal point? And even more surprising, why did Jungkook become the center of attention in a moment that was supposed to highlight the WOOGA Squad? That question began to echo across every corner of the internet, igniting speculation, curiosity, and even unexpected theories. Many started wondering, was this merely a visual coincidence, or was there a hidden message deliberately placed within the moment? And if there truly was something concealed, why would it appear in a context connected to such an exclusive circle like the WOOGA Squad, long associated with Kim Taehyung? It all started with a short clip that initially appeared to be just another ordinary piece of concert footage. But within hours, it evolved into a heated topic of discussion. The camera captured Jungkook in an intensely raw state, his black hair soaked with sweat, clinging to his forehead, giving off an unfiltered, almost vulnerable impression. Something felt different. This wasn't just a performance. This wasn't just visuals. The iconic dragon tattoo on his left arm was clearly visible, almost as if intentionally emphasized by the stage lighting. Many began to question whether it was simply a lighting effect, or a deliberate choice to highlight it more than usual. In the world of entertainment, especially at the scale of BTS, visual details rarely exist without purpose, yet what truly captured attention wasn't only his physical appearance. The silver chain necklace around his neck shimmered under the purple stage lights, while his multiple earrings added a bold, edgy aura. The contrasting white and black gloves covering his hands created a striking visual duality, soft yet sharp, calm yet powerful. Was this merely a styling concept? Or something deeper? His entire look felt like an unfinished visual narrative. Every movement, every expression, seemed to speak beyond the lyrics he was singing. His gaze was intense, yet occasionally softened as he glanced to the side, as if searching for something or someone. This is where speculation began to spiral. Some fans suggested that those glances were not random. Others linked them to the presence of important figures behind the scenes. There were even theories connecting this moment to dynamics rarely seen publicly, especially involving social circles like the WOOGA Squad, closely tied to Kim Taehyung. Why did Jungkook appear, as if he was sending a signal? And if so, to whom? Then, just as the intensity peaked, the atmosphere shifted. In the final seconds of the clip, he broke into a wide smile, a smile that felt genuine, yet still carried a layer of mystery. He lifted a bottle of mineral water, a simple gesture that, to some, seemed oddly symbolic. Many saw it as nothing more than a routine end to a performance, but others believed it was something more, a subtle code, only noticeable to those paying closer attention. The purple stage lighting flooded the entire scene, creating a dreamlike, almost surreal atmosphere. The bokeh effect from the background lights added to the dramatic tone, making Jungkook appear as if he existed somewhere between reality and illusion. Was this simply artistic coincidence, or a carefully constructed visual meant to communicate something hidden? What makes this moment even more intriguing is its timing. It surfaced just as the WOOGA Squad was once again drawing public attention. The group, featuring well-known names like Park Seo-joon, Choi Woo-shik, and Park Hyung-sik, has long been recognized for its tight and exclusive bond. Yet the sudden presence of Jungkook within this narrative raised new questions. Was this a sign of shifting dynamics? Or merely a coincidence amplified by public perception? Some pop culture analysts have even begun framing this phenomenon as an example of how a single visual moment can redirect global conversation. In the digital era, where every second can be captured, edited, and shared, the line between reality and interpretation becomes increasingly blurred. What truly happened on stage may be vastly different from what audiences perceive, and yet, that is precisely where its power lies. Jungkook didn't just perform. He created an experience. He provoked emotion. He made people question. And perhaps that was the intention all along. Meanwhile, dedicated fans of BTS began dissecting every frame of the clip. They slowed it down, zoomed into details, and analyzed even the smallest gestures that might have gone unnoticed. This was no longer simple entertainment. It had turned into a collective investigation. What exactly were they searching for? The answer may not be as simple as it seems. Because in a world filled with symbolism and hidden narratives, every detail can become a clue. And in this case, Jungkook appears to have left behind more questions than answers. Did this the beginning of something bigger? Or merely an illusion shaped by light, music, and perception? One thing, however, is undeniable. This moment has shaken public attention. And amid the spotlight on the WOOGA Squad, the name Jungkook now stands firmly at center stage, carrying a mystery that remains unresolved. And just when the public thought they had seen everything, the narrative refused to settle. It deepened, twisted, and quietly pulled everyone further into a web of interpretation that felt almost impossible to escape. Because the more the clip of Jungkook was replayed, the more unsettling one question became. Why did it feel intentional? There was something almost calculated in the way the moment unfolded. Not forced, not artificial, but precise. The kind of precision that doesn't scream for attention, yet somehow commands it effortlessly. As if every element, the sweat, the lighting, the timing of his glance, even the subtle lift of that water bottle, had been placed exactly where it needed to be, not just for performance, but for impact. And impact it had. Across fan communities, discussions no longer revolved around whether the moment was real or ordinary. That phase passed quickly. What replaced it was far more intense. Interpretation. Theories multiplied, each more intricate than the last. Some insisted that Jungkook was signaling a shift, an evolution in image, identity, perhaps even direction. Others believed the moment hinted at something interpersonal, something unspoken that had yet to surface publicly. But then another question emerged, one that refused to be ignored. Why now? Timing, in the world of global stardom, is rarely accidental. Especially within a phenomenon as meticulously observed as BTS, where even silence can be interpreted as a message. And the resurgence of conversations around the WOOGA Squad only amplified the mystery. It created an overlap, two narratives intersecting at a moment that felt too aligned to dismiss. Was this collision of attention organic or orchestrated? The stage itself seemed to hold clues. The dominance of purple lighting was not lost on fans, a color long associated with emotional connection and loyalty within the fandom culture surrounding BTS. Under that glow, Jungkook appeared almost untouchable, like a figure suspended between presence and symbolism. Real, yet distant. Visible, yet unreadable. And that unreadability became the core of the fascination, because no matter how many times the footage was analyzed, slowed down, or reframed, there was always something just out of reach, something that couldn't be fully explained. A fleeting expression, a microsecond pause, a shift in posture that felt too deliberate to ignore, yet too subtle to define. It didn't help that those closest to the broader narrative, figures often associated with WOOGA Squad, and especially Kim Taehyung, remained completely silent.
No clarification.
No reaction. Not even a vague acknowledgement. And in a world where even the smallest interactions are usually noticed and amplified, that silence felt louder than any statement. Was it avoidance or intention? Silence, after all, can be one of the most powerful forms of communication. As hours turned into days, the clip refused to fade. Instead, it evolved. Edits began to circulate, layering the original footage with slowed audio, zoomed-in frames, even symbolic overlays that attempted to decode what fans believed they were seeing. Some interpretations leaned into artistry, framing the moment as a deliberate aesthetic statement, an embodiment of contrast, vulnerability, and control. Others drifted towards something more emotional, suggesting that what was captured was not performance, but leakage, an unguarded glimpse into something real. The question lingered, heavy and unresolved, not because there were no answers, but because there were too many. Each interpretation felt plausible. There was a growing sense that this wasn't just about a performance anymore. It was about positioning, about presence, about the subtle art of controlling a narrative without ever directly addressing it. And if that was true, then what unfolded on that stage was not accidental. It was strategic in a way that blurred the line between authenticity and design. But even that interpretation came with its own unsettling implication. Because if it was designed, then every emotion perceived by millions might have been guided, shaped, directed. And if it wasn't designed, if it was truly spontaneous, then what it revealed carried a weight far heavier than performance could ever hold. Either way, the result was the same. Attention, unwavering and intense. The conversation refused to die down. If anything, it grew more complex. New angles emerged. Old assumptions were challenged. Even those who initially dismissed the moment found themselves drawn back in, rewatching, reconsidering, questioning what they might have missed the first time. Because long after the lights dimmed and the music faded, something remained. Not a clear message, not a definitive answer, but a feeling, a tension, a sense that something had shifted, even if no one could fully explain how or why. And as that question continued to echo, unanswered, unresolved, almost haunting, the narrative surrounding Jungkook began to take on a life of its own, expanding far beyond the boundaries of a single performance clip. What once seemed like a fleeting moment now felt like a turning point, the kind that only reveals its true meaning long after it has passed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't announced. There was no official statement, no dramatic reveal. And yet, those who were watching closely could feel it, an almost imperceptible shift in energy, in presence.